I've never read the book, but Jerome Dickey's Friends and Lovers, Part 1 and Part 2 on Lifetime was good. And there's some things that I want to talk to you about from a licensed therapist perspective. Now, before we get into it, put in the comment section, what did you think about Friends and Lovers? And if you're someone who read the book, tell me some of the differences and some things that I missed because I haven't read the book yet. One of the things that I appreciated about this movie was that it felt very real. It felt kind of realistic, like these were things that could happen to somebody in real life. Even though the end gave me a little plot twist, I was not expecting that. It still was juicy and felt realistic. Now, Shelby and Tyrel was dealing with the same type of relationship trauma from my perspective. They were both jaded from previous relationships. They were in relationships that they shouldn't have been in. There was a lot of distrust from the opposite sex, but at the end of the day, they went very well together. Even though Shelby was a little hardcore and she was real thug life, I was like, girl, calm down. But also too, we know typically that can be a protective factor because she doesn't want her heart to be broken again. Now, Deborah and Leonard, they came from completely different backgrounds and careers. And I felt like in real life, they may have never really gotten together, but it worked. And it worked because Leonard had, his comedian career and he was thugging it out and working on it. And it eventually led to something bigger. But I think that if he never really got that TV deal or whatever he was working on that was bigger, I don't think Deborah would have stayed with him long term because she did need somebody to make that little bit of coin, right? I mean, she was a whole doctor. She was a whole OBGYN. We know money isn't everything because if that was the case, she would have stayed with Rich. The concept of two friends dating two friends is tricky. Because think about it, when one person breaks up with your friend, no matter which part of the relationship is in, it can create a whole different dynamic for the friend group, which we saw happen when Shelby and Tyrel broke up. They kind of distanced themselves from everybody. They weren't all hanging out like they used to, and it kind of just messed up the vibe. Genuinely love Shelby and Deborah's friendship. It seemed to me like they got what each other wanted in the beginning. Remember, Deborah got engaged, right? And Shelby was stuck on is Tyrel gonna marry me? Is he gonna wanna be with me? And it was like, okay, Deborah had the ring, but then just in the next scene, Shelby found out that she was preggo, right? And then we know that Deborah was trying to get pregnant for a very long time. He had to do IVF and IUD treatments. It was like one wanted the ring, one wanted the baby, and they were in different spots. I love their friendship because no matter what circumstance they were in, they never was jealous of one another. They never was like, well, why you got a ring and I didn't? Well, why you pregnant? You don't even want the baby. It was never that type of energy. They supported each other on whatever was happening in their lives. And that's a true friendship. Before we move on, it has come to my attention that only about 4 to 5% of y'all who watch my videos are subscribed to my channel. So y'all be watching and kikiing in the comments with me, but you never press the subscribe button. So please hit that button and hit the notification button because that does help me to create content like this for you every single week. Now let's get back to it. I think it was very raw and real. We talking about single women who are career driven, who are over 30 years old. That's a real thing right now. And life can throw you all types of curveballs, right? But I think when you get older and when you get up there in age, so to speak, because society was like 30 years old to have a baby, 30 plus, 35 plus is too old to have a baby. It's like, relax. People are having babies in their 40s and they're fine, right? Chill. I think the moral of this story in this movie was be open to how love may find you, however love may find you. It may not be in the fairy tale story that you anticipated, that you created in your head, that you dreamed about previously, but your story is going to be your story. Your love story is going to be your love story. Because think about it, Deb had her whole list. Well, he needs to make over 300K. He needs to be black. He needs to be 6'3". He needs to be black, pop, right? And then when she found that person, she was bored. She was thinking about litter, it just didn't work out. So sometimes the things that we want on paper aren't the things that we probably need in real life. Let's talk about how after Leonard died and passed away, Deb still had to have this baby. I can't even imagine what it's like to go through a significant loss like that. Wow. A significant loss like that, period, right? It's like losing your husband, especially in the way that he died in a car accident, is tragic, right? But also going through that while pregnant is like double emotions, double trauma. Now, you know, whatever you feel, your baby feels, right? So all of the sadness, all of the grief, all of the loss, your baby is also feeling that too. Think that your baby will never see their dad. When y'all planned for this, y'all wanted this, y'all went through all the IVFs and everything, your husband will never meet your baby is heartbreaking. The support system, solid, locked in. Shelby and Tyrel, they stepped up to the plate. They were there. They had their little uncle and auntie shirts on at the end holding the baby. Like, it was beautiful because truly they could have been like, look, sis, I'm gonna stay in San Diego and I'm gonna stay in the Bay Area and I'm not trying to live back down here with you. You know, you don't have to figure this out on your own. But that's what true support is. You know, it's like, I'm gonna pull up for you. I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna be your ride or die, because it is hard to raise a baby in general by yourself, let alone doing it in a way that you didn't think would happen, which is by yourself because you're a widow. So my final thoughts on this was that it was a good movie. Like, I know that this is a part of their like Black Love series because He Wasn't Man Enough, it was a part of it. His, Hers, and Ours is a part of it. You know, Friends and Love, like all of these different shows are a part of this little, I don't even know what you want to call it, a little series that they have going on Lifetime. I felt like, I mean, it's a Lifetime movie, right? Like, what did I expect? But I also felt like there was a few missing pieces between 1 and 2, right? It's like, we didn't really figure out and find out what happened with Tyrel's ex non-girlfriend, you know what I mean? Like, what happened after she came over that night? Like, why? What was going on? Like, it was just so much that wasn't 100% clear. And I'm thinking that all Lifetime movies must be about an hour and a half and can't go over that, because why do we need to have a part 1 and a part 2? Why couldn't y'all just make one movie and make it 3 hours? There's tons of movies that are 3 hours or longer that we have sat through. Bad Boys, Dark Knight, like all the movies with over 3 hours. Color Purple, you know, like it's perfectly fine for movies to be over 2 hours long if they need to be. But I was just confused about the part 1 and the part 2 because I had to go and search, well, where's the other part? Where's the second part? And why weren't they back to back? Anywho, thank you so much for watching another review on my channel. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Be blessed.